Hello there. Good morning. Today I will be reading Francis Bacon's essay of Nobility. I will also be making some eggs. This is Francis Bacon and eggs. Eggs first. I have a pan here. It's pretty dirty. I'm going to get another one. So, 2 cast irons at the moment. Also kind of dirty, but whatever. Today, I have decided that, oh my, well, here's some eggs, which is lovely. I found it, my bacon. Yes, that's right. Today I will literally be making bacon and eggs. Not Francis, however. It's quite a lot of bacon, and it's kind of a misshapen pieces because it's a whole lot easier. I'm just going to turn it on medium, just sort of separate them a bit. These are cheaper than buying the actual strips. This is quite a lot of bacon. Let's put some back. That should be nice. That should really grease this pan quite a lot. So I'm just going to let that sit there and fry. Go clean my hands. Use some soap. You may notice this is a new kitchen. I have but recently moved. This is the first Francis Bacon and eggs I've done here in Montpelier, Vermont, where, of course, Francis Bacon has never been. Now, of Nobility. Our last essay was on Goodness of Nature. What a doozy that was. Of Nobility is the 14th, and it was written in 1612 and rewritten in 1625 like the rest of them. We will speak of nobility first as a portion of an estate, then as a condition of particular persons. A monarchy, where there is no nobility at all, is ever a pure and absolute tyranny, as that of the Turks. But nobility attempers sovereignty, and draws the eyes of the people somewhat aside from the line royal. But for democracies, they need it not, and they are commonly more quiet and less subject to sedition than where there are stirps of nobles. For men's eyes are upon the business and not upon the persons. Or, if upon the persons, it is for the business' sake, as fittest, and not for flags and pedigree. We see the Switzers last well, notwithstanding their diversity of religion and of cantons, for utility is their bond and not respects. The united provinces of the Low Countries and their governments excel, for where there is an equality, the consultations are more indifferent, and the payments in tributes more cheerful. A great and potent nobility addeth majesty to a monarch, but diminisheth power, and putteth life and spirit into the people, but presseth their fortune. It is well when nobles are not too great for sovereignty nor for justice, and yet maintained in that height, as the insolency of inferiors may be broken upon them, before it comes on too fast upon the majesty of kings. A numerous nobility causeth poverty and inconvenience in a state, for it is a surcharge of expense, and besides, it being of necessity that many of the nobility fall in time to be weak in fortune, it maketh a kind of disproportion between honor and means. I like this so far, actually, quite a lot. One of the great things about being American is I have to bow to no one. There is no nobility here. We are all equal, and therefore I count a person for their manner of business and their skill rather than their pedigree. Although, one could say the same of Brits. Unlike the sponges, is the queen. For some people. I've lost friends that way. As for nobility in particular persons, it is a reverent thing to see an ancient castle or building not in decay, or to see a fair timber tree sound and perfect. How much more to behold an ancient noble family, which hath stood against the waves and weathers of time. Here we have an exclamation mark. For new nobility is but the act of power, but ancient nobility is the act of time. Those that are first raised in nobility are commonly more virtuous, but less innocent than their descendants. For there is rarely any arising but by a commixture of good and evil arts. Wow, evil arts. But it is reason the memory of their virtues remain, to their posterity, and their faults die with themselves. Nobility of birth commonly abateth industry. And he that is not industrious, envieth he him that is. That is true. I'm going to take a break now, because I need to cut up some onions. How about the definition of the word stirps? Did you notice that he used the word stirps there? I know it's not what that means. When there are stirps of nobles, 3. Stirps, families, races, literally stem, stock, from Latin stirpus. Bacon uses the Latin word without any alteration, except that here he makes it plural. Well, this solves that problem then. I wonder if I would find that in my dictionary. I'm only going to use around half of an onion today. Might even use a quarter. I think tonight I'm going to be making a big roast. So the rest of this onion will be used, but for now, I just want something to season the bacon. To draw out the flavor a bit more. Soak up some of that really nice bacon grease. So, now there's some onions in there. Grind some pepper. My grinder is unfortunately dying. We have here some beautiful bacon. You see that? It looks great. Very excited. Well, we salted. It's uncured. Now, I'm going to need some coffee. I'm out of coffee. I spent all of the morning walking around trying to find a red-breasted nuthatch, and I found nothing. So I'm cold, and I'm hungry, and I must need food. I need my spatula, which is here. I'm going to stir this bacon around a bit. It looks fantabulous. Yes, it does. Very simple bacon today, nothing extra. Now, where were we? He that is not industrious envieth him that is. Not always true when Netflix exists. Besides, noble persons cannot go much higher, and he that standeth at a stay when others rise can hardly avoid motions of envy. On the other side, nobility extinguisheth the passive envy from others towards them, because they are in possession of honor. Passive envy. Being envy. Okay. Certainly, kings that have able men of their nobility shall find ease in employing them, and a better slide into their business. For people naturally blend to them as born in some sort of command. And that's it for nobility. There's not much in this one. 3 pages. Let me go through the notes a bit, because I actually needed them today. Notes, the state means state or constitution. The tempers means modifies. We need that. Stirps comes from Latin stirpus. That would be a third declension neuter. Blanca S-I-E-M-E. Thank you for that. 5 years of Latin. Totally useless. Pedigree. The word is a corruption of the French pas degré, by degrees. Pedigree really being a genealogical table showing in all the degrees relationships from members of the family. I did not know know that. Fascinating. Alright. So, this looks pretty good now. It's on high, which is just way too hot. I moved them so I could have the coffee pot in the back, but I forgot to turn it down. I actually like my bacon fairly flimsy, but I'm going to wait a bit more before I add some eggs. Too great for sovereignty, nor for justice. Did you catch that line? Kind of reminds me of Banks. Or, in my case, the president cannot be indicted. So powerful as to be beyond the control of the king, out of the reach of the laws, the dukes of Burgundy and Brittany were often too powerful to be submissive to the French king. In Scotch history, when Bothwell was tried for the murder of Lord Darnley, he came to the court with such a number of armed attendants that an impartial and just trial was an impossibility. Surcharge, overcharge, great expense, overload. Surcharge is still the legal term used to denote the putting of more capital to graze in the common than the commoner has a right to, or more than the herbage will sustain. The prefix sur is merely the Latin super, shortened in passage to the French, as in surcease, surface, surname, surfeit, surmount, survey, surprise, surrender, etc. Did not know that. Weathers, winds, tempest, so also weathercock, to indicate the direction of the wind, weatherboard, the weather of a windmill, the obliquity of its sail. More virtuous than, but less innocent. This is how Bacon described nobles who are newly arisen. The note here is having more of the sterner qualities, virtues, courage, zeal, perseverance, etc., but less of integrity, kindness, and justice. The dichotomy there is very interesting. Alright, so this is basically all I really want to cook this bacon. It's great. So, I know it's too hot, but I'm going to do it anyway, because life's too short to care. Woo! 1 egg. 2 eggs. Keep going for gold! 3 eggs! That's enough. So, we have some eggs. We have here a pie that I'm going to eat later for dessert for breakfast, because Yankees eat pies for breakfast. If you are confused, worry not. There's a wonderful poem my sister sent me about the definition of Yankees. It ends with Yankees eat pie for breakfast. So let's look at the analysis. 1. Nobility, part of an estate. Its effects are beneficial in A, modifying the power of a sovereign, making government peaceful and respected. The peace and contentment of democracies is produced by self-interest, like the Swiss, or impartiality, like the Netherlands. There's a good definition of why Switzerland actually works. Never heard it before, just self-interested. Its effects are detrimental in danger of becoming too powerful for justice or for causing poverty. Nobility does cause poverty. Nobility in reference to individuals is an old nobility is venerable. Nobility induces virtue in descendants, though it may never have been attained originally through crime. It gives occasion for envy by evading industry and the advantage of inferiors. And it renders nobles less liable to be envied, because nobility kind of sucks when it's in a single person. And common people naturally obey men of noble birth. Fuck that. That's it. I don't know how I feel about this one. I wish that he would rather really dwell on the fact that nobility is just a shitty, crappy way to treat commoners. Right? It's to elevate people is really not ideal. What's nice though is he didn't really talk about nobility as being a divine right. I like that. You know, if people are raised in nobility, that's just how it is. So that was kind of cool. My eggs eggs here are looking pretty black because this pan was actually dirty as well, but they're going to be delicious regardless. And now I'm going to make my second coffee for the day. Earlier I used the cafetiere, but now I think I will make pour over, because I only really want the 1 cup. Put some stuff in the grinder. Put a filter. I hope you enjoyed this today. I certainly enjoyed making it. It's a funny thing, French bacon and eggs. And do you have any requests for anything to read, or do you prefer I wore a button-down shirt instead of a Hobie Catting shirt from the 70s that my father gave me that's too big underneath his coat? Do let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go around and make my breakfast by taking it out of this pan, and then I will eat. How exciting! So that's it for me. Look at these filthy eggs. Oh yeah. I'm getting too old for this, but I love it. There we are.